What's really present for me to talk about is the power of programming our mind. Some people relate to it with affirmations, there's practicing of ideal scenes, there's vision boards. There, I just recently attended Tony Robbins' Time to Rise Summit. I've never done any of his stuff before, and he talks about incantations. My spiritual practice has taught me essentially what's called programming, and that is when you create a really clear picture down to the detail of what it is that you envision and see for yourself. And it might be a vision that's you're casting for a year or 3 years or 5 years. It might be around something in particular, but it's about you spending the time to capture every detail and to program it, literally program it. When I was first taught this, it was part of a collaboration with two different entities that were bringing together the practical and the spiritual in a learning environment. And I had known about it. I had heard about it more as what's called living vision, and that was something that I was taught in my master's in spiritual psychology. The programming part, which was the repetition of bringing it into the conscious and subconscious and unconscious, if you will, was not a piece I had done as much of. Being in this experience with Tony Robbins brought this back around present for me because it's something that's always been a part of how I begin every year. It is when I joined this mastermind to get on the TEDx journey. A key part of the beginning of that introduction was creating the vision of how you are experiencing yourself after you've just completed your talk. And I created a very exciting, inspiring, and pithy vision. And the direction was to say it, to connect with it every single day. The power of programming is something that I wholeheartedly believe in and I encourage. And I'm going to share something with you that is not necessarily an exact example of programming when I'm talking about creating a vision. So, for example, if I had a vision for my life that included like my home and my partner and the work I'm doing, and it had I've created those before as well. And I want to share with you right now the programming that I'm working with right now. And one of the things that I have not done that I'm going to do, and I want to share this as part of me sharing this, is the power in repeating it 100 times, like not stopping until you repeat it 100 times. And the first time I learned this, I created a living vision or programming, if you will, that was much more detailed about my life. And I was part of an experience and we were all doing it. So then we all just sat there with music was playing and we just repeated it to ourselves 100 times. And it starts to shift your energy and your frequency. And so I know the power of that. So my intention is to create the space to do that. But in the meantime, before I close this out, I want to share this with you because I think it's really powerful. And if this lands for you, if this supports you, if you feel this, take it and build on it. I need my glasses for this one. Today I step into my new reality. Today my thoughts create my new future. Today I become the person I know I can be. I am the creator of my reality. I choose positive, uplifting thoughts. I choose to believe in myself. Today I lead from inner coherence. My energy is my influence. Every breath reconnects me to my highest intelligence. My words carry the vibration of truth and grace. I am in divine partnership with life itself. I am worthy of ease, beauty, and expansion. Each moment is a sacred ground for transformation. I am both the student and the source of the wisdom within me. Everything I need to create real wealth already lives inside me. My heart is the most advanced technology I own. I am creating the frequency of wholeness. Every cell in my body remembers peace. So perhaps you felt my own energy shift as I was sharing that with you. And It's like what's interesting is that I feel like you always find a couple of parts of this that are like your favorite. And my two favorites of this, my energy is my influence. I love that short but sweet, powerful statement. And my heart is the most advanced technology I own. I love that. So that was something I created. And actually, it was inspired by listening to some Joe Dispenza videos on YouTube, of which his stuff is very much in alignment with that programming. And you can absolutely use his stuff. There are a couple channels. I found one or two that I feel like are really more, I can hear his voice versus an AI version. Maybe I'll link it below. Anyways, I highly encourage you to consider how this process of programming, of, as Tony Robbins shares it, incantations, of having a vision that is very specific and very clear that you are repeating on a daily basis to reconnect, to reprogram all of the unconscious material ideals, beliefs, habits, negative self talk, and really just stories that are likely no longer and maybe never were true for you, but it's just running, you know? It's like your inner operating system, it's the part that you cannot see. But this is when you make it visible, when you decide to be in the driver's seat and when you decide to bring in what will bring you so much life and joy. We are always in charge of our experience, and we got to put in the reps. All right. My name is Jennifer Herrera, and thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much.